Welcome to the St. Paul's Area Community Engagement and Housing Design Meeting. My name is Barbara Hamley, and it is my honor and pleasure to serve as your moderator for this evening's discussion. We are here to present to you the proposed designs for the two new apartment communities. We refer to them as Block 17 and 18. They will be located in the St. Paul's area of Norfolk between St. Paul's Boulevard and what will be the newly realigned Church Street near the Hampton Roads Transit Center. And we are looking for your feedback about the building designs, and we welcome any input that you would like to provide to the design team. Before we get started, we have a few housekeeping items for this virtual meeting. Participants will be in listen-only mode during the presentation. Following the presentation, there will be a question and answer session. Those of you who have logged on via WebEx, you will be able to send messages via the chat feature. To activate your chat feature, select the text bubble symbol. All of the chat features will be displayed on the right-hand side of your screen. Type in your question or comment, and I will be announcing your design questions in the order received, and a member of the development team will respond. If you are joining the meeting by phone only, we will attempt to unmute you during the question and answer session. Please be aware that the number of participants and the audio quality may prevent or limit us with this feature. So stay tuned until the end of the meeting, and we'll share other opportunities to provide feedback and to answer your questions. It is now my pleasure to introduce Councilwoman Angela Williams Graves. Ms. Graves represents Super Ward 7 in the city of Norfolk, and she is the chair of the St. Paul's Area Advisory Committee. Councilwoman Graves.
Thank you, Barbara. Somebody else might need to mute because I hear like this echo. Okay, that's better. Very good, very good. So thank you, Barbara. I really do appreciate your time and energy that you put into this. I am excited about the community engagement piece of this because as people would think that during COVID everything stopped, everything did not stop. We have been working very diligently to ensure that we are able to keep our word and our promises to the residents of the city of Norfolk with regard to the St. Paul's Revitalization Project, especially as it pertains to the Tidewater Gardens area. And so I want to say, first of all, I want to say thank you to all of the attendees, all of you who have taken time out of your busy schedule. I think that one of the things that COVID has given us was the unique ability to multitask sometimes and to be able to listen in on a meeting or participate in a meeting and do work or cook dinner. So for all of you who are doing all of the above, thank you for including us in your evening and making us a priority and making this St. Paul's redevelopment project a part of your priorities. As I alluded to earlier, we've been working with design staff, we've been working with our development team, we have been hosting our monthly St. Paul's Advisory Committee meetings via WebEx, as this same format is right here. And so we want to make sure that individuals who attended this meeting, Barbara, that they also get the announcement as well. Those who registered to attend the meeting get the announcement as well for the upcoming St. Paul's Advisory Committee meeting. So if they want to participate in those meetings and listen to what is going on and give input, they are able to do that also. But I hope that, as I stated to the group of participants earlier today, I hope that you will be as pleased and as excited as I am about the renderings and about the proposed projects that are coming down the pike for building Block 17 and 18. A lot of work has gone into making sure that we have listened to the community with regard to what their desires are. We also had to be practical with what our budget is, but we think that we have found a really great balance between the two. And I said to someone the other day that this project is the best project that the city of Norfolk has ever done with regard to redevelopment. And as I said it, I thought about it, and then I quantified what I said by saying it doesn't mean that any of the other projects were done poorly. Some of them probably maybe could have been done better. But if we don't continue to get better, then what good are we, right? So the reason it's the best one is that we've had all the other projects to pull best practices from. We've learned what didn't go well, and we've been able to correct that, and we've been able to bring more partners to the table. We've been able to bring more community members to the table. I do believe that this is one of the most open and transparent processes that the city has seen with regard to transformation. So I'm really, really excited about what the future holds for St. Paul's. And I'm also excited about what you're going to see in the presentation for Block 17 and 18. And I hope when you see it, you will get energized, you will be excited, and you will know that the things that we said that we would do, which was give residents a good quality place to live, that's the thing that we're doing. Earlier I said that I believe that everyone should have a safe place to live, and they should have a working place to live. So when you come home, you should feel safe. When you turn on the stove, it should work. When you turn on the lights, they should come on. Everything in your house, in your apartment, it should work. Those are the basic things, right? And then we have the fluff, right? The foo-foo stuff, like I like to call it. Those things that make you feel good when you drive up because the yard is manicured and the aesthetics are well taken care of, and you've got great landscaping, and you have things in your community that excite you that you can do with your family and with your friends. And so that is the community that we are working with our residents to create, and that is what we are working to create in this St. Paul's quadrant reformation. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has worked really hard to make this happen to date. We still have a long way to go. COVID has not helped us at all, but we are working through it. Our partners are working with us, and they are all standing, well, not shoulder to shoulder anymore, but you know what I mean, like air shoulder to air shoulder, right? Making sure that we are dotting every I and that we are crossing every T, and that we get this right for the future of our city, those future generations of our city. So thank you again for all that you do. And again, thank you to all of the participants. I will be reviewing this. I won't be with you through the whole presentation because I have seen it and I have reviewed it. And I want to thank staff for that because they always want to make sure that I'm abreast of what's going on to make sure that they're living up to the promises that we have made. So thank you so much. I hope you all have a great evening, and I hope that you enjoy the presentation and that you are inspired by what you see and that you continue to participate in this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Graves. We appreciate that very, very much. So this is the first time that these proposed designs are being presented to the community. Please welcome Mr. John Majors, Vice President of Brenshaw Development, along with members of the development team from Bank of America and the architectural design of Moody Nolan Group, to present the proposed designs. John, take it away.
Thank you, Barbara. And thank you, Ms. Graves. I don't know if she's still on, but she's been an incredible leader, so very, very thankful. I want to first thank NRHA and the city, tremendous leadership on this project, really have been partners along the way, and we absolutely could not be where we are without the city, without NRHA. Our partners, Bank of America Community Development Corporation and Franklin Johnston, and then our absolutely fantastic design team at Moody Nolan. And I absolutely also want to thank all of you, the citizens of Norfolk, residents of the Tidewater Gardens community. I mentioned on the earlier call that I really do miss being able to come to Norfolk and visit and be able to sit down in the resident meetings and meet people and shake hands and talk to people. And I want you all to know that when we, as the development and design team, when we go back and have our meetings and talk about sort of what goes where in the development and some of the things that you will see today, I take back, and all of the team takes back the feedback that we've heard from you all in previous meetings. So we'll be on a Zoom call and talking about designing, the buildings that you're going to see. And somebody will say, well, gosh, I remember I was in a resident meeting and I met a woman who shared with me XYZ, that she'd been living here for a while. And one of her main concerns, one of the things that she really wanted to see in the future community was X, Y, and Z. So we'll figure out how do we incorporate those things in. So it's incredibly important to us. It's incredibly important to the quality of the project. And I really hope, number one, thank you all for being here. And I hope that you will take advantage of the opportunities to share feedback with us. I am going to play a video, and thank you for the grace. We are all learning all of these different platforms as we go. So I'm going to play a video. It worked earlier, so I'm confident that it's going to work today. But I will ask everyone, if you'd like to hear the audio, which is really fantastic, please turn up the volume on however you're listening to this presentation. So let me not do that and go up here, do it this way. Okay. Okay, so turn up your volume so you'll be able to hear it. There we go. I'm Ronald Mitchell, design partner at the architectural. Okay, great. So I hope you all were able to hear that and see it, and that you enjoyed that. Ronald Mitchell is our main point of contact at the design firm of Moody Nolan, which happens to be a Black-owned business, minority business enterprise. So that is just so many great things that we could say about Ronald and his team. I am going to jump to a presentation that will walk you through in a little more detail some of what we just saw, and then we'll present a little bit of new information as well. So you all should be seeing the screen. Give me a thumbs up, Barbara, if you all are seeing the screen. Great, thank you. Okay, so we'll go through these and we'll just go through a little more detail on a lot of what we saw. So everyone, if you've been around and attending any of the meetings over the past year plus, you've probably seen this diagram. This is toward the bottom middle of the screen there. That is the current Tidewater Gardens site where the apartments currently are. You see along the right-hand side, just next to the red line, sort of a meandering blue way, and then if you get to the middle of the screen going toward the left, you see sort of a, almost looks like a finger sticking out, across the screen. That's what you may hear referred to as the blue-green way. And then as we move to the gray square on top of the PowerPoint, what do I need to do? Okay, can you all see the PowerPoint again? Okay, all right. So if you're, if you're looking at sort of the middle of the screen, that blue and green way, that will be a walking trail that has a waterway flowing through it. And then that will lead you to, as you look at sort of the right side of the screen toward the top, 17, 18, and then 19, 20. Those are all developments around the transit center. So that sort of blue jagged line, that's actually the transit center. That's where the buses park. And to the north of that, those are blocks 19 and 20, which we presented to the Tidewater Gardens residents last year. Block 20 is already been allocated tax credits for financing. They will break ground, begin the construction on that in the first half of 2021. What we're going to dig into and talk in more detail about today is 17 and 18. I'll move my cursor there, but I know the cursor doesn't always show up, or it doesn't show up in the exact same timing. But we're going to talk about 17 here and 18 today. So this is at the transit center. This is the southern half of the transit center, if you will. And then this is the actual design of how that block will lay out. And I'll just start from the left and go around, and then we'll sort of walk through what we're looking at. So just to get everyone familiarized, this is the St. Paul's Boulevard on the far left-hand side of the screen. You'll see that labeled there. Along the bottom, you'll see what will become the newly extended Freemason Street. To the right of your screen, you will see Church Street, and at the top right, that's the Transit Center Drive. So this is, again, if this picture is kind of if we're looking at this from a drone or a helicopter, say, the buses are actually parked sort of where you see the text at the top, overall plans, blah, blah, blah. So there. Going from the left, that, where you've got sort of the number one, that would be, we're still in discussions with McDonald's, but we would really like to retain that McDonald's. They do a lot of hiring from the neighborhood. They've been a staple in the neighborhood for a while, so we would really like to keep them, and we're in discussions with them now. As we go around along Freemason, those are micro retail opportunities there. It's going to be some really exciting things that go on there, and we'll get a chance to see that as if you were sort of walking down Freemason. We see the entrance into the parking lot, and it was really interesting. Ronald and his team did a phenomenal job working with McDonald's to figure out how to actually incorporate their drive-through. So really excited about that. And then we move to some more micro retail. And then Festival Street will be a pedestrian-friendly street that actually separates Block 17 and Block 18. But that will, all of this will lend to a feel of comfort and fun and excitement walking, but you should really feel welcome as you spend time at the site, as you live here, as you shop here, et cetera. And then we've got, as we cross over Festival, still along Freemason there, the first site, and I'll move my cursor there if you all can see this here, that is a local arts organization that we're in conversations with, which I think is going to be a real asset to the community. And then if we keep going around, you'll see that landscape plaza, potential for some micro retail here, right at the corner of Freemason and Church. That landscaped plaza that we talked about, that's going to be a real benefit, I think, to the entire neighborhood. And then we're in conversation, early conversations, but conversations with an early learning center to go that would be a tenant right here where my cursor is, if you can see that. So we'll dig into this a lot more as we go through the presentation. We're talking about the actual unit mix of the houses, of the housing that'll go there, and this is combined for Block 17 and 18. I really do want to point out this note at the bottom. You know, these numbers are subject to change. You wouldn't expect them to change drastically, but as we're finalizing the design and financing and all those things, you know, you might see minor shifts in some of these numbers. The replacement units, those are the HUD-assisted rental units that are designed and intended for current residents of Tidewater Gardens specifically. The affordable units would be units that are financed with tax credits, but that would be income restricted as well, maybe a little bit higher threshold than some of the replacement units. But if you had a voucher, you could absolutely choose those units as well. And then there would be unrestricted units. So there would be market rate units on the site. The goal here is to create a mixed income community. All the units will be the exact same from a, you know, build out everything. No one knows who's sort of, you know, in each one of these categories. It's a true, genuine mixed income community. Oops. There we go. So again, give me a chance to really dive in some here. This is as if you were standing on top of a building at the corner of Freemason and Church, the newly extended Freemason, the newly extended Church, and looking down into that landscaped courtyard, that retail that I talked about right there on the corner. You'll see it has a rooftop deck above it that's open to the residents of Block 17 as an amenity space, outdoor gathering. You could see having, you know, fire pits and things like that out there. So in the evening, friends could go out there and gather and just enjoy each other's company. Some interesting take on some sun shading there to really introduce some vibrant colors and, you know, a little bit of pop of excitement there. You see some public art there in the at the ground floor, again, as part of that plaza. And then as you go up Freemason from Church toward St. Paul, you see that part of Block 17, and then you see Block 18 there as well. And we'll get a little more granular here shortly. What you do see to the right of your screen there is that's going to be Block 20. And then just behind that is Block 19, which is I believe Block 19 is the senior deal. All right, so this is if you were sitting in the grass enjoying a picnic on Freemason across from Block 17, and you see the building Block 17 to your right. And if you were looking at this, if you're standing here, this picture to your right is going to be the new Church Street. This is the new Freemason. Directly in front of you to your left would be the existing St. Paul's Boulevard. Right directly in front of you where you see, you know, just in front of the red car here, if you see the group of people gathering here, that is that very pedestrian-friendly Festival Street that we talked about. here, this is as if you were standing at the transit center looking back at Block 17. So it shows just how proximate and how well connected Block 17, as well as you're looking at Block 20 to the left of your screen there, just how close all these things are, all these developments are to the transit station. This is in that plaza that we talked about. That's the public art to the left of the screen. Really, we'll be very, very thoughtful about the landscaping that goes here to just really create an environment where people just want to hang out with their friends and congregate and spend time and just really enjoy themselves here. This is Block 18, so this is as if you were standing across St. Paul's, looking back on what will be the new, newly extended Freemason. I shared earlier that one of the comments that we have heard is that, you know, a lot of the buildings in some ways look similar. And so we wanted to take a little bit of risk here. We wanted to be a little bit avant-garde, if you will, and do some things that are a little forward thinking here. So if you look, and Renald did a phenomenal job, better than I will ever be able to do, explaining some of what's going on here. You see this, if you look at the left of your screen, left side of your screen moving to the right, that is all the same facade. It's just that depending on where the sun is hitting that, it's called color shift, exactly where the sun is hitting it, it's going to shift it'll have a dynamic shift to how it appears to your, how the color appears to your eye. So it'll almost look like the color is changing as you're walking by it. You'll see this side of the building is a little bit higher. Again, to give a little bit more visual interest there, you'll see here as you look toward the right part of the building, right where the corner of St. Paul's and Freemason is, the building peels back away from the balconies there. Again, just doing some things to make some really interesting visual interest. This is going to be a wayfinding corner. This is going to be a corner when people are giving directions, they're going to say, you know, go to the big spire that's you know, you can't miss it. And again, that's the spire here that serves as the homage to some of the churches in the area. This is along Freemason. Again, this is as if you're walking down Freemason, you're maybe going to shop at one of the boutiques there, maybe you're going to grab a cup of coffee or a bite to eat in one of the ground floor retail spaces. This is if you're standing on Freemason, again, that street to the right of your screen there, that is Festival Street, and that's, again, a very pedestrian-friendly connector from Freemason to the transit center. And then if you're looking to the left side of your screen here, that's as if you're looking back towards St. Paul's. We'll go through the unit layouts, and just, you know, as an additional note here, these are all, the pictures are all representative examples of what we'll see. This, you know, the architects call this, quote unquote, precedent imagery. So, you know, they may not look exactly like this. They probably won't look exactly like this, but this is representative of the finish level and things like that you would see. I'll walk around the apartment very quickly. So this, if you guys can see where my cursor is, this is the front door to the apartment unit. So you'd walk in, you'd have a bathroom to your right. The kitchen and dining area would be immediately in front of you. You walk beyond that, and that's your living area where you'd have your sofa and your TV and all those things. And then going into that door on the right there, that takes you into the bedroom, walk-in closet, and washer-dryer in each one of these units. I think there's one bedroom's got a washer-dryer stack. In the two-bedroom, again, walking through the front door, you'd have a bathroom and a coat closet right there to your right. From kitchen and dining, immediately to your left, you walk into your living room. And again, given that this is a two-bedroom, you actually have a bedroom on either side of the living room. So the main bedroom would be to your left. You'd walk in there, go through the bathroom to get to a very sizable walk-in closet. Back in the living room, if you go to the right, that's more of a secondary bedroom, still large enough that you can fit a queen bed in all the bedrooms. And again, you'd see right there across from the island in the kitchen, the washer-dryer unit in the unit. Moving to the 3-bedroom, again, we'll do a tour here. We'll walk through the front door. Immediately to your right here is going to be your washer and dryer. Immediately to your left is going to be your kitchen and dining area. Here you've got a little bit of a hallway area where if you go to the right, you go to the secondary bedrooms, 2 of them along with their bathroom, and the bathroom that, if you have guests over, that they would use that bathroom as well. Going back to sort of the middle of the unit, that's the living room, and then you have a balcony on the 3 bedrooms, and then you have a main bedroom here as well with a walk-in closet and its own bathroom there as well. So, again, very excited. This is one of the areas where we had lots of good conversation and discussion about what we have heard in previous meetings with residents. And later we'll show you some of the information where you can take the survey. In fact, I think that's probably next. Nope, we're going to talk about amenities, but this is where we'd really like to hear your feedback. Like, does this work? Do you see this being someplace that you'd like to call home? What do you think about the layouts and those sorts of things? So we'll talk a little bit about some of the amenities. What can you expect living here? So lots of things that you'd see in any other, really attractive apartment community. Fitness rooms, this rooftop deck, I think is going to be very, very exciting. The landscape plaza, I think Ms. Graves talked about things that make you smile when you come home. I think this landscape plaza, I think this rooftop deck, I think those are going to be things that make the residents here really smile when they come home. And then the proximity to the major transit center, I think that's just going to be a tremendous benefit for anybody who lives here. It really gives you a little bit of optionality. If you own a car, you might not need to use it as often, just given how close this location is to everything. And here's what I was talking about earlier. You've got a couple of different ways to give us your feedback. Number one, in person, 3 different places around the area, the Hunton YMCA, the People First office, or St. Mary's Basilica. Or you can go online to norfolk.gov/St. Paul's feedback. So, Barbara, I'm going to hand it back over to you. Thank you all so much, and I appreciate everyone being here, on a school night. I appreciate that.
Thank you, John. This is very, very exciting. And I will be reviewing ways that people can give feedback outside of tonight's meeting in just a little bit. But now it's time for us to hear from you. Again, if you're joining us via WebEx, please submit your questions using the WebEx chat feature that's found on the right-hand side of your screen. If you're on the phone, please stand by and we'll unmute you if this feature permits. We'll get in as many questions as we can. It would be helpful for those of you who have questions, if you would type your name and where you're from, that would help us out quite a bit. And while you think about your questions and start to type those in, I'm going to raise 2 questions that were raised in the earlier meeting today and get a chance to have those 2 questions answered. So the first question for our panel is, will these apartments be affordable? And John, I'm going to let you take that.
So yes, these, and I will go back to a slide that we showed earlier. Okay, there we go. So again, these apartments are designed as mixed income communities so that we will have some replacement units, HUD-assisted rental units that are designed and intended for current Tidewater Garden residents. We'll have affordable units. They are rent restricted by nature of the financing and, using tax credits. The Virginia housing sets the maximum rents at a certain level, but if you're taking a voucher, you could use your voucher for those units as well. And then there will be some market rate units, which we're calling here unrestricted, just because they're not income limited. And so, yes, mix of incomes and affordability will be layered throughout every one of the developments, not just here at Block 17 and 18, but every one of the developments in this area.
All right. And then the other question was, are these new apartments available to families with children or just single people with no kids?
Absolutely available to people with children. We would welcome families with children to be our residents.
Okay. We have a question from Amber Perkins. She says the redevelopment project is 3 neighborhoods. Where will the other thousands of people go? So I think what she's saying is, and we need to make clear that this is just the beginning of the rebuild of new housing that will come to the area. Correct, John?
So it seems like someone from NRHA wanted to try to address
this is Steve Morales.
Okay, Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, this is Steve Morales, project director with NRHA. This project and everything that we're working on just right here is only really is about Tidewater Gardens, the Choice Neighborhoods Initiative grant that we have from HUD, and all the planning and the redevelopment effort that we have right now that we're focused on is just dealing with Tidewater Gardens. This project is gonna operate between now and 2025, and that's gonna be the focus. So we haven't gotten to the other communities yet, so we still got a ways to go there. So for the public, keep your eyes open. Those will be future planning items that will bring the community in, just like what we did with Tidewater. So it's one by one.
Steve, I have another question for you. So Amber also wants to know, what if every single family from Tidewater Gardens wants to come back? There's not enough space for every single family. Can you talk a little bit about the history of moving?
Sure. First, there is a right to return. So all the families in Tidewater that want to return, and under the CNI program, it's to the site and we also have some off-site units that we're looking at. It's really, though, based on our past work, our experience in other projects, we actually don't anticipate that all the families will want to return. And a big feature of why we got there is that we've been planning really through this process, I want to say really the last 15 years. The original St. Paul's study began in 2005 with the city. A lot of additional work from 2010 to 2014, and then picking this project back up really 2017 and 2018. And we have surveyed and worked with the residents in Tidewater going all the way back to 2005. And what the surveys were showing us is that not everybody was going to return or wanted to return. And so we designed this choice project to reflect that. And so what we've heard from the community, and we have essentially made allowances if that's not the case. But what we heard from the community is that about 50% wanted to return. And so we have 309 replacement units on-site and some off-site to make up the full 309, and then another 309 vouchers for Tidewater residents that they choose where they want to go.
And the last question Amber has is, were residents shown these mock-ups when asked to make the decision?
Obviously not, because we are in the midst of design. What we did show is the master plan that John showed on the front end of this presentation. That was shown. We did have some initial design work kind of just showing typical units and look and feel early on as part of a design process. We held community charrettes back in 2018, so residents did have a feel of what units were coming back. And again, very similar to what happened back with the Hope 6 project, and we saw sort of a similar level there, that some folks just decided that this is not the community they wanted to come back to. Having said all that, all the residents have a right to return, and if the residents decide that they want to return, we've made some allowances for that, and we will accommodate everybody that wants to come back.
The residents also, just to add to that, were a part of the design charrettes and gave feedback to the designers and so forth in terms of what they even imagined they would like to see. And all of that information has been funneled and kept in the forefront to make sure that as these new designs that we've just seen tonight have taken into consideration all of that information that residents did. We did the meetings at St. Mary's, and they were very productive, and all of that information has been incorporated into these new designs. Okay, Melissa, do we have anyone on the phone who has a question?
We don't have any call-in users.
No call-in users. Okay. Those of you who are online, then, if you have other questions, please type your question in to the Q&A section. Amber, thank you for your questions. We appreciate them. And I'm just looking to see if any other questions pop up. Well, while you're thinking about it, and if there's any additional questions, let me review with you once again how you can give us even more feedback on these designs and what you think. So the design team will take your comments and your ideas, and they're going to review them. And we want these apartments to feel like home for the residents that choose to live here. We want them to be functional, engaging, and inviting. And your feedback really is critical. So if you want to think about what you've seen tonight and give feedback later, there are 3 ways that you can do this. First, you can go to Let's Talk Norfolk at www.opentownhall.com, and that information is on your screen right now. And look for the St. Paul's Redevelopment Community Engagement Survey. Complete the survey and add any additional comments that you may have. Second, you can visit one of 3 survey sites, wearing a mask, obviously, and staying socially distant. And at these sites, you will find a survey table set up for your convenience with images and paper surveys for you to complete. Add your name and contact information if you have additional questions that you would like a staff member to get back to you on directly. Now, the locations and dates for these 3 sites are St. Mary's Catholic Church at 232 Chapel Street on Wednesdays and Thursdays from 9 until noon. People First Office, that's at 447 Walk Street in Tidewater Gardens, weekdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the Hutton YMCA, also in Tidewater Gardens at 1139 East Charlotte Street, weekdays from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Or the last thing you can do is contact the St. Paul's hotline at 757-314-2000. That's 757-314-2000. Leave your name and your phone number along with your specific question, and someone from the team will follow up with you. And you can always message us at stpaulsdistrict.org. That is the website for the St. Paul's Transformation Project. Let's see. Amber has one more question. Okay, sorry, just trying to get clear, real last question. Let's see. If residents who decided they didn't want to come back on the survey change their mind, can they come back, Steve?
Absolutely. I mean, it's not through the survey that the residents decide whether they want to come back. It's actually, there's a long period of time as they go out on relocation temporarily, and have the decision really late in the game. As units are built, Again, these are just 2 additional phases of what will be probably about 8 phases in the project. So as the units are being built, residents will be offered the opportunity to come back to those units, and they can decide to wait to the next one, wait to the next one, to wait to the next one, to the last one. So they have a long period of time before they absolutely decide, make that final decision that whether they want to return or not. Now, through this process, as we're leasing up, there does get to be a point where all the units get leased up if someone, stays quiet throughout that period. So that at the end of the day would be the final determinant there. But in that case, since then they would then just have to wait in the future as units became available again through change or through vacancies. But for residents, they actually will have a very long period of time before they absolutely have to decide whether they want to return or not. The preference for the hard units will be 5 years. So if a resident decides, is relocated now, and say 5 years from now they decide is like, you know what, I want to come back to the community, then they would have first preference to any vacancies for the hard for the replacement units. So I think we've got a lot of different processes in place in order to accommodate residents that want to, come back right away or come back later.
And I would strongly encourage people to stay in touch by going to stpaulsdistrict.org or calling the hotline, or definitely checking in with your People First counselors. They are there to help you with this whole relocation process, as well as the process of getting you back into the community. And so they will be available to answer any of your questions. So it's really important that you reach out to People First if you have not already, and get signed up so that you can work directly with that staff to help you in any questions that you may have. Are there any other questions from our audience? If not, I would strongly encourage you, please, to go to the online to norfolk.gov/St. Paul's feedback and fill out the survey. Let us know what you thought. Think about the things that you've seen. We're going to be posting this meeting and other information on our Facebook page. So if you haven't signed up for the St. Paul's Facebook page, please do so. And we will encourage you to either go to the survey, go see us in person, or give us a call on the hotline. And with that, unless anyone else of our panel has any other comments or questions or statements you'd like to make? If not, thank you so very much for joining us. My name is Barbara Ham-Lee. It's been my pleasure to serve as your moderator, and I hope you all have a safe and wonderful evening. Good night.